6.3e. Multiply and divide positive rational numbers fluently. When you multiply fractions, there are two things that you cannot have in your problem. Those things are mixed numbers and whole numbers. 4.5 is a mixed number, and 7 would be a whole number. You cannot use those when multiplying. You must change them both to improper fractions. For example, 4 and 1/2 becomes 9/2, and 7 becomes 7/1. Once you no longer have improper fractions, you just multiply numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator. An example of this would be the 9/2 times 7/1. So 9 times 7 is 63, and 2 times 1 is 2. Remember, you can't leave your answer as an improper fraction. You change an improper fraction to a mixed number by dividing numerator by denominator. We also call this top dog. Now, dividing fractions. Just like multiplying fractions, you cannot have a mixed number or a whole number. We really never divide fractions. Instead, we just multiply by the reciprocal. We call this keep, change, flip. It means you keep the first fraction, you change the division to multiplication, and flip the second fraction. Now it's your turn to solve 3.5 divided by 1/8. Follow the rules that you just wrote and tell me how many 1/8 are in 3.5. Okay, and now flip your paper over to the back where we will continue taking our notes. Multiplying decimals. Step 1. Complete the multiplication as you normally would, as if the decimal was not there. Step 2. Determine the number of digits after the decimal points in the numbers that you are multiplying together. The total number of digits after the decimals. And step 3. The number of digits that are behind those decimals in the factors will be the same as the number of digits that are behind the decimals in the product. So what this means is, if you look at your whole problem and look at all the numbers that are written after the decimals in the problem, there are 3 of them. The 4, the 6, and the 2. That means my answer will have 3 digits written to the right of the decimal in the product, the answer to the multiplication problem. Okay, so fill in the blanks and show where the decimal goes for this problem. First, let's label the quotient, the dividend, and the divisor. Is this how you labeled your quotient, your dividend, and your divisor? Step 1. If the divisor is not a whole number, you move the decimal point to the right to make it a whole number. And then move the decimal points in the dividend the same number of places. Step 2, divide as usual. And step 3, put the decimal directly above the decimal points in the dividend.